go out there. Sometimes when I cover these stories, if I've been to the place, I take a little bit of familiarity, a little step back and say, hey, yes, I've been to this place. Sometimes I had a good time, sometimes I didn't. This particular time I didn't, because it happened in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, a sleepy town just west of Harrisburg across the Susquehanna River. And my destination when I was there was the worst distribution center on the face of the planet, where it would take them upwards of 12 to 15 hours just to put 30 pieces onto the back of a truck. But I walked to a pizza restaurant about a half a mile away to get something to eat while I was there. And the pizza, it was good. Wasn't anything to write home about, but it was a good pizza. But that's not what we're talking about here. I'm not talking about trucking. I'm not talking about bad pizza. But what I am talking about is murder. So on September 9th of 2000 in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, a beautiful wedding was taking place. It was the marriage of 24-year-old Brian Trimble and 25-year-old Randi Peck. Friends and family came from all over the country to see this wedding. The church was full, and everyone stood with respect as Randi, the blushing bride, was escorted down the aisle by her proud stepfather. Stepfather because Randi's biological father was an abusive asshole and not in the picture. So, the stepfather. And that kind of makes what happens in this story that much more tragic. A storybook wedding, to say the least. It was everything that a little girl dreams about as a child. The beautiful bride-to-be glistened as she approached her soon-to-be husband waiting for her at the altar, his groommen to his left, Randi's bridesmaids to his right, in perfectly fitted lavender dresses, some of who were dabbing their eyes with tissues to keep their makeup from getting streaked by their tears. Her stepfather, there delivers her to the altar, kisses his daughter on the cheek, and then returns to his seat. As the couple recite their vows, a look of love in Brian's eyes beams as he gazes into Randi's as she gets choked up while reciting the vows. The minister asked if anyone had any reason why the couple shouldn't be married. Nobody spoke up, so the minister pronounced them husband and wife through sickness and health, through good times and bad. And nobody could have predicted just how bad things were going to get. You could almost say that this story would play out like a bad horror movie, because in fact, that's exactly what it was. Welcome to Drunk Topic. This is a true crime happening. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
And beer. You like that?
Yeah, that was good. Kind of like a, was that kind of like a parody of, what's that guy? Dark Topic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt similar.
Yeah, I didn't, nobody sounds like Jack Luna, but I got his mannerisms down right.
Right on.
And yeah, it just, that sounded, like I could totally picture him doing that. that,
Totally.
that was fun to make. And people, I'm not making fun of Dark Topic. I love Dark Topic. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I've listened to just about every single episode that he's got. And so no, that was a style parody which is a sign of respect.
Totally. Absolutely.
So don't be sending us hate mail or 1-star reviews or anything like that. Because they're banging on Dark Topic. Well, no, I'm not. So
not really.
That guy is truly a gifted storyteller and everything. So, and me with my mush mouth, I mean, I had to record it because there's no way I would have been able to make it through that in one shot without getting tongue tied. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's Todd. There's two crazy Florida men drinking beer and talking about true crime.
Indeed.
But before we get started, I have some ado.
Okay.
I do have ado. Over a bunch of doo-doo.
Uh-oh. Right on.
We got a review.
Yes, we did.
Our first 1-star review. And we always say, interact with us. We'll give you a shout out. So we are going to give this person a shout out.
Yes.
Oh, the review states, oh my God, these guys are OMG. These two guys are so boring and monotone, my head hurts. And that comes to us from T. Marie 13.
Okay. I mean, I don't.
You keep using that word. I don't think you know what that word means. Monotone. You want to hear monotone? Welcome to Crimes, Killers, Cults.
Yeah, right. And beer. God, I can't even do it.
And beer.
And beer.
Just two crazy Florida men drinking beer and talking about true crime.
All right. I mean, I don't think we are monotone like that. Maybe a little bit, but not that bad. But the way you were just doing that is making my head hurt too. So if that's what she thinks we are, then okay, I guess.
Well, thanks for listening, T. Marie 13. I kind of wonder what episode was she listening to?
I don't know.
Because I mean, some of those early episodes were kind of rough. I'll admit that.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's just that like Harvey Glattman or Christine Falling or whatever. Those two episodes were really bland.
Yeah.
But those are like episodes like 4 and 5 or whatever, 6, something like that.
Yeah, we were still figuring shit out.
Now, if you say that any of the episodes that we've done from Killdozer on are boring, you're fucking crazy.
Podcast?
Yeah, it's like, were you listening to another podcast and then accidentally clicked on ours to leave the review?
Who knows? Anyway,
if you're going to leave a 1-star review, at least get the word right. At least say what you mean. We are anything but monotone.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway,
moving on. I'm just going to pick up right where that little intro left off.
Okie dokie.
So the sources are pretty much American Monster TV series, documentary, episode, or season 1, episode 2, Appalachian horror film. So,
all right.
Brian had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and Randi had been very supportive of him. Sickness and health, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he even thanked her for standing by him in his toast at the wedding or at the reception. And of course she would. She absolutely adored Brian. But it wouldn't be the medical issues that would doom this marriage. They had lived a comfortable life, and Brian had an IT job at a hospital. And he was an introvert, didn't make friends very easily. But in 2002, Brian befriended a coworker named Blaine Norris. They clicked and became very good friends. And Blaine was a computer nerd, and he was very much into video games as well as Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And
Right on.
yeah, nothing wrong with that. But Brian was into that stuff as well. Blaine had a wife named Wendy and a new baby, Mason. And Blaine had a good job, working at the same place that Brian did. They made good money there. Anything in computers is going to be good money.
Yeah.
So, but his dream job was ultimately to become a movie director.
Oh, interesting.
He was very much into horror movies, and if this is sounding a bit familiar, you might be thinking of Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk from the Cassie Joe Stoddard episode. But unlike Tori and Brian, or Brian Draper, Blaine was actually working on a low-budget horror movie rather than just making videos of himself talking about it.
Oh, so he was actually going through with it. All right.
Yeah, he really was. But this story kind of goes how you thought the murder of Cassie Joe Stoddard was going to go.
Oh, okay.
But Blaine's movie was a slasher film that took place in the Appalachian Trail. And it was about a group of hikers who were murdered one by one. Such an original concept. I mean, I can't believe nobody's ever done that story before.
I know, right?
I mean, and the title that he came up with for this, I mean, yeah, I'm going to rag on him because he's an asshole. But the title that he came up there, I mean, it's right up there with great movie titles like Thanksgiving. Or Chopping Mall.
Shopping Mall. That was, as far as bad movies go, that was a good one.
Or Deathbed, the bed that eats.
The bed that eats, yes.
You've seen all three of those movies, haven't you?
I have not seen Deathbed, but yes, the other two I have seen.
The title that he...
I love bad movies like that. I really, really do.
Oh, I do too. I mean, they're the guilty pleasure type of thing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But the title that he came up with for his movie was Through Hike.
Through Hike?
Through Hike. Yeah.
Okay.
Through Hike.
That's weird, but all right.
You mean Through Hike?
That's not a very interesting name for a movie.
No. Through Hike. I mean, that sounds like it would be more along the lines of a part of a movie title, not the movie title. The serial killer kills hikers through hike trail, or I don't know, but
yeah, right.
But I'm not the cinematic genius that Blaine Norris was. So what do I know?
Right.
Yeah, apparently totally. I'm boring and monotone too.
Yeah, right. Whatever it is, what it is.
So
I guess I don't know.
So Brian was involved with it as well, and Brian didn't know it, but he had a very creative mind when it came to the production, and the two bonded over it. And Blaine kind of brought it out of him. Just like tap something that he had no idea was there.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Brian agreed to be the cameraman, and he was pumped because this project would help him get his mind off of his MS. But it also took him away from Randi, who was a little overprotective of Brian and his condition. And this irritated Brian and caused problems in their marriage.
I'm having issues with my mic. It's not cooperating with me. Sorry. I think I'm good now, though.
But the script was done, and they began hosting auditions for the cast. The 5 hikers are to be picked off one by one by the ghost of a miner named Samuel Toon. Ooh.
Oh, ghost of a miner. Okay.
The ghost of a miner. And the ghost had only one line in the entire movie, and he would just say just before killing a hiker, "Why don't you come join me in my mine?"
Is that a real thing?
Dude, there's video of this. There's actually video of this.
All right. Did the movie actually get made?
It got finished. It didn't get to do anything with it, but we'll get to that.
Okay,
But
so it's
no, it was completed. It was in post production, or it was in post filming production. When we'll get there.
all right. Yeah, okay.
Everything was filmed. It was being put together.
Dude, because even though the title's not very good, I think I'd like to see this movie just because.
It might be on YouTube. I didn't look, but there's clips. There's not really any clips of there are clips in it, which we're gonna get to.
Okay, no worries.
I've only, everything is in place: script, actors, location, a cameraman, and a cameraman with MS. But Blaine was very thorough with his production.
I'm not laughing at the fact that he had MS. No, I didn't laugh at that. It's just Anyway.
I know. But he was very thorough with his production, and he may have actually wound up becoming a movie producer, a real one. But one thing that he didn't have was $20,000 to make the movie. But Brian does. So he and Randi have thousands of dollars in the bank, and Blaine began trying to get Brian to bankroll the movie. Randi, however, was very frugal with their money. Plus, that money was their security in case Brian's MS got to the point where he couldn't work.
Yeah.
That's sound reasoning right there, if you ask me.
Indeed.
But Brian tried to talk Randi into it, but of course she said no. Brian also said that he wanted to go to the Appalachian Trail for a week to shoot the film, but the location that they had picked got no cell signal whatsoever, and Randi was concerned with something that, if something were to happen with his MS, he'd be screwed. But Brian argued, I'd be there with other people, but Randi put her foot down and said no.
All right.
So Brian got pissed, and Blaine got even more pissed when Brian told him, but Blaine decided to go ahead and make the film anyway.
Oh,
so
here we go.
In August, they headed to their location to film the horror movie, and there's footage of them in the car talking about their hopes and dreams for the movie on the way to the location, everything. At this point, they are kind of like Adam Chicken Draper. Except they're actually on their way to shoot a movie.
Yeah, right?
So...
Yeah, they're actually doing it. They're not talking about it.
They're not, yeah. Ted Bundy was an amateur. We're going to be like Ed Gein, who killed 2 people.
Of course.
But Blaine had used every bit of his own money for the film, and he had even taken out loans to fund it, totaling $20,000. And without Brian on board, Blaine is the director and the cameraman. So, on the first day of filming, it went about like the Joseph Paul Franklin episode of the Gloria Trevi episodes on CKCB. Just total disasters.
Yeah.
Or even Ron Dominique.
Yeah.
I think overall, Ron Dominique was the biggest train wreck of all. I don't. It's really hard to pick. I mean, the end results of all 3 of those, they sound fine.
Oh yeah.
But you'd never know. But God, the hell that we went through getting those those episodes out. I mean, it was rough.
Yes, it was.
Total disaster. He had problems with the camera, audio equipment, not to mention the fact that nobody could get their lines right. Props to make the scenes, specifically the graveyard scenes, were more expensive than Blaine had projected, because he wanted like real looking gravestones. He didn't just want like stupid little props or whatever that looked like
Dollar Tree.
Yeah, he didn't want that. He wanted stuff that was actually real. Well, they could have just found a location that had real, I'm sure they're all over the place up there. These old little, spooky looking graveyards and everything.
Yeah, but you have to get permits to do that unless you're just doing a guerrilla.
Oh, okay.
So,
but
Yeah, like you have to get permits to film like location and place and all that shit.
But he maxed out his credit cards as well. But he needed Brian, but Brian is at home fuming because Randi wasn't budging on him not being able to be part of the film. And the Cup Hill and Camp Hill. I want some pizza. The couple had gone to counseling, but Randi still wouldn't budge. And one day, Blaine's wife, Wendy, and their son showed up on the set, and they had been having marital problems, and Blaine had done something stupid.
Okay.
Take a guess.
Oh. I don't know. What did he do? Cheat on her? I don't know.
No. He kind of did something worse.
Oh.
He put their house on the market to help fund the movie.
See, I never would have guessed that, but okay. I mean, dude, just take out a second mortgage or something. Dude. You get money that way. Don't sell your house. Where the fuck are you going to live?
He thinks that this movie is going to be like the next Blair Witch Project or something like that.
Oh.
But, yeah, I hope it's better than the Blair. I did not like the Blair Witch Project. I mean, I don't like those found footage movies. They all suck. I hate those found footage movies.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the first Paranormal Activity that was actually almost good.
Yeah, I did kind of like that one.
Yeah, the second one, not so much, and then the second one was just a failed attempt to duplicate the first one.
Yeah. And how many are there now? Are there like 5 or 6 of them now or something?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the other ones. But yeah, that first one had some intense scenes in it. I mean, actually,
that first one was actually kind of scary.
Yeah. But I mean, the Blair Witch Project. I mean, the Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. That was actually pretty decent. That was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was. I did like that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen the third one though.
There's a third one?
I think so. But
I don't know.
I'm surprised some Hollywood producer hasn't gone and remade Blair Witch Project as an actual movie, with a budget and everything, because that might actually be good. Yeah,
it could be. But then again, it's like, just come up with an original idea. Stop remaking movies because you don't have any ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Agreed. But, so, Wendy obviously wasn't thrilled about that, and he said he would work out the issues with the marriage after they were done shooting the film, and that never ends well.
No. No, it doesn't. That is, you should have just stopped with your movie, fixed the relationship, and then, if there was time, do the movie.
Right. But the days of the shooting were getting longer and everything, and conditions on the set were getting worse. And apparently it was cave cricket season. Are you familiar with them?
No.
They are like cousins of crickets and everything, but they look horrific. They look fucking scary.
Okay.
Just do a quick Google search on one of them while I'm talking. Can you do that?
Yeah. Let me get my tablet. Hold on.
Okay, but I'll keep talking. You look it up. But I'm telling you, cave crickets they are freaky looking.
Hey, give me a sec.
But they come out at night.
Okay.
And they're like all over the place. They come out. I mean, they're harmless, but if you don't know what they are, I mean, you can see them in the videos, the footage from the shooting of this. They're all over the damn place. They were getting into bags, getting into all over the equipment. They were everywhere. And if you don't know about them, they look scary as shit. They get pretty big too. About the size of a locust.
Fuck. What happened? Dude, you're not going to believe this, but it wasn't the first thing that came up when I typed in cave, but it was like the fourth thing down on Google. So it's like, yeah, Google's listening. We know it. Like, how else would it know that cave crickets were even a friggin' thing? Where'd it go? Oh, it's not there now. Oh, fuck me.
Google's saying, we're not looking. We're not.
Cave crickets. All right, here we go. This could be nightmares, dude. It's your fucking fault. Oh, my Lanta.
They're fucking scary looking, aren't they?
Holy
hold up.
shit. Hold on. Let me find a good picture.
Yeah, just put it up there on your video feed there for anybody that might not know what they are.
All right, here. That is a cave cricket.
Yep, and
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying, especially if you get one that's like 2.5, 3 inches long and about a 3/4 of an inch tall.
Oh shit.
Not counting those hind legs.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan. I'm going to say I'm not a big fan of big bugs, but you know.
No,
I would not want to see that.
No, I saw them because all they said was these in the documentary where they were talking about all these giant bugs, and they actually showed them on footage that they had shot, and I'm like, those are cave crickets. But yeah, those things are horrifying looking. Oh, they're harmless. They don't bite. You know, they don't.
Doesn't look harmless.
No, it looks like it'll fuck you up.
Yeah, it does. Anyway,
hashtag. Well, I didn't digress. No, that wasn't that wasn't a
hashtag. It was an on-topic digression. Anyway,
right now, if I were to tell you how I know about cave crickets, that would be a digression. There actually is a story about how I know about cave crickets.
Now we know what cave crickets are. Everybody's gonna have nightmares.
But really, they're harmless.
Anyway, right.
It's just there are lots of them. They travel in really big packs. I mean, they just they don't give a shit. But so the cave crickets there, the situation was getting worse and everything, and they were also only 5 days into shooting, and Wendy was a constant presence on the set, and they were fighting constantly. So that's not anything good. It's like if your girlfriend shows up to band practice pissed off.
Jeez, never been in that situation before.
Nah, never. Not once.
Not ever. Anyway.
So Blaine is starting to realize that he's backed into a corner, and this movie of his absolutely had to be a hit or he was going to be ruined. Okay. That's not a good corner to be backed into.
No, it is not.
Like, because chances are you're not going to make the Blair Witch Project. You know?
No, that's not going to happen.
That was a once in a millennium. Millennium. Yeah, millennium. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Yeah, that is what I meant. Holy crap. I actually said it right and thought that I didn't. But
that's a first.
That doesn't happen. That just doesn't, it doesn't, that just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Where the first one just turns out to be a freaking blockbuster hit. Especially not a low budget thing like that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, not at first. I mean, it might become like a cult classic 20 years from now, but yeah, you're not going to make a low budget movie and be a hit. That just ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Especially a horror film. I mean, if you're doing something else, like if you're trying to do a serious movie low budget, that can work.
What you want to do is take a script of like a drama or something like that, and make sure your writer is really good, your actors are really good, but that way it's not, because it's just basically a bunch of dialogue. You're not going to have to go out and rely on special effects and stuff like that. That's more likely to be a really quick hit like that if you're gonna make a low budget film for your first film.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not gonna cost nearly as much.
Right.
So if anybody wants to hire me to make a movie about Thaddeus Morton, BillZillaProd@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So there's one scene that was shown in the documentary where the killer ghost drowns a female hiker by using the force.
Oh God. Okay. The force, huh?
That's what it looks like. He's standing about 30 yards away when she goes into a stream, and he holds up his hand. Oh, camera. He holds up his hand like this and goes like this. And then she just down into the water. Yeah, I swear, it looks like he's using the force.
Okay. So ghost Jedis. All right.
A force ghost.
Yeah.
And in the movie, in the footage, I mean, I'm guessing that he's in there and they're going to add special effects on to him to make him look like a ghost, like in post. You know, I'm guessing that what they were going to do, but basically it's just a guy. They hadn't done anything with it yet, but
Yeah.
they would have had to. If he's the ghost, they're going to have to make him look like a ghost.
Yeah. Well, when were they making this movie?
This was in 2000.
Yeah. They
Actually, 2000, 2001, 2002, somewhere along in there. The wedding was in 2000.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they could have done some probably crappy CG, but yeah.
Yeah. But he's standing about 30 yards away, and I would have said that he holds out his hand and then pushes it down, and she flails around in the water and then goes limp. It only took 17 takes to get it right.
What?
But the reason was because Blaine was becoming a tyrant. You know, he's like trying to become. He's doing two different things. He's shooting it and he's directing it at the same time, and he's fighting with his wife the whole time, and he's just starting to lose it. And so, I mean, yeah, I get it, but still, it's like cut, you know. And by the time they finally got the final one right, where he's like, okay, that's it. The girl that was in the water, she just like, are we done? Because obviously this is her exit from the fucking movie. She's not going to be in the movie anymore after this. She even says this. She's like, oh my God, this is my last shot in the movie. But she then she had to keep doing it over and over and over again, like trying to fake being drowned by frickin' Samuel Toon.
By a ghost. Oh, dude, maybe she was screwing it up on purpose so she could be there longer.
She was wearing a white T-shirt.
Well, there you go.
But you know, the filming is finally over, and when he gets home, he realizes that his marriage is over too. Because Wendy had left, and she packed up everything and taken Mason and bolted, leaving a Dear Blaine letter.
A Dear Blaine letter.
Dear Blaine. But so Blaine is alone and broke and in serious debt, so he turns to Brian Trimble again, and Blaine is convinced that he's struck gold with Through Hike.
That name is just, that's great. Holy shit. Through Hike. That's like the worst name you could fucking think of for your fucking movie, dude. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so terrible, it's good.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's footage, you know, like footage of what is available. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I should have looked for it, but I didn't.
Yeah, we'll have to do that later.
Yeah. So, but he began showing Brian scenes from the movie, and Brian is like thoroughly impressed. You know, it didn't look bad. What I saw, it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
But
right.
the movie triggered resentment in Brian toward Randi. he now started venting to Blaine, saying how mundane his life was. Work, home, wife, and eventually it would be work, home, baby, wife, work, baby, home, baby, wife, baby. Work, suicide.
Shit. Okay.
No, he didn't say that. I just kind of threw it in there. But that's kind of. I mean, he was freaking miserable, and yeah, he couldn't stand how controlling Randi was being. He thought that Randi thought that she was just taking care of him, but the way he saw it, she was smothering him because she just wanted him there for her all the time.
Oh, all right.
And you know what? I think both points of view have some truth to them. I really, I think both of these people have legitimate arguments, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this case is starting to have Chris Watts vibes.
Yeah, right? Holy crap.
How many past episodes can I bring up in this one? Let's see. So far, it's been JPF, Gloria Trevi, Cassie Joe Stoddard, Ron Dominique, and now Chris Watts.
Yeah.
Anyway, hashtag but I directed Chris. Brian wanted out. So, on January 10th, 2003, at 7 o'clock at night, the Trimble family's Christmas lights are still up, and Randi comes home from work. She pulls into the garage, she turns off the car, and she gets out, and she goes inside, and the house is dark. She has no idea that she is now starring in a real-life horror movie.
Oh.
And a car alarm goes off outside, and Randi goes out to investigate, and she realizes it's the alarm of her own car. She says, "Hello? Is anybody there?" And she doesn't realize it, but there's a man wearing dark clothes and a mask sneaking up behind her. "Hello?" She calls out again, and then she goes to her car.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
I wrote that.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. I was thinking that because nobody really does that shit in their life.
Yeah, but it was, I just based it on what I was seeing. Yeah, it's something, it's like how it would be narrated in the novel.
Yeah.
Dust Bowl Killer. I better freaking write that book before somebody else steals it from me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one. Another episode that I mentioned in this episode.
I think that's like 7 now.
Yeah. At 8:29 p.m., the police receive a 911 call, and a man's high-pitched and whiny, panting voice. "I just got home. My wife's on the floor, and she's bleeding really bad." And the operator, they played the actual 911 tape.
All right.
The actual call. Except it reminded me of freaking Larry Hall. There's another one. But it really did remind me of Larry Hall. And the operator asks if she's conscious, and the man replies, "I don't think so." Oh my God! I'm telling you, I am not exaggerating. This is what he sounded like on the fucking 911 call. Not exactly.
Okay.
Not exactly monotone.
Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Oh shit. The operator asked if she was breathing, and the man said, No, she's not."
Oh God, I hate laughing at stuff like this, but that voice is just cracking me up.
When I watched the documentary, when I was doing these notes, I could not help myself. I was just laughing at this. Is like, God, if you're trying to sound, at least make it sound fucking real, you know?
Yeah, right.
So the caller was, you guessed it, Brian Trimble. So the 911 operator sent out police and an ambulance. And Brian had also called his mother crying, saying, "Mom, there's something wrong with Randi. Something happened really bad to Randi, Mom. She's bleeding, Mom. She's bleeding." There's no audio of that. I'm just, I'm assuming that he thinks that that's his real. Stay behind the camera there, Brian. Don't say, don't get in front of the camera.
Yeah. Just direct. You don't need to be acting.
No. So the police and the ambulance get there, and they discovered Randi had been strangled and stabbed multiple times, 27 to be exact. And the street was completely shut down. And this was a nice neighborhood that was considered by everybody to be a really safe neighborhood. Nobody really saw this coming. Okay. But Brian was in a state of shock, and he said that he'd been out with a friend at a restaurant, which was confirmed by both the friend and their waitress. And so it seemed like he had a good alibi. He had called 911 after finding his home ransacked and his wife lying dead in the garage in a pool of her own blood. So investigators determined that Brian had not been involved with with this murder, so a broader investigation began. On January 13th of 2003, there was a viewing at the church, and it was the same church that the couple had been married in. And you know what? Seeing that the church in that documentary, I've actually seen that church. I've driven right by it.
Oh, really? I guess that's cool. I don't know.
Well, it's just, it was just crazy, Yeah. But Brian said that he wanted to see her body before anybody else did. So suddenly, Brian, alone in the church, in the sanctuary area, he just let out a curdling wail, "Perfect looking!"
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
I couldn't resist. I brought up JPM. Right. So I had to go there.
We had to go with the perfect nougat.
Definitely. It's been a while since.
Yep. No worries.
Mein Kampf, perfect nougat. So some of the stab wounds were still visible. The defensive wounds on her hands.
Okay.
There were absolutely no leads, and the police were worried that this could be. Police were worried that this could become a cold case very quickly. And no fingerprints, no DNA, no murder weapon, no witnesses, no nothing.
Okay.
January 27th, 2003. The detective went back to Brian's house to talk to him again. He wanted Brian to talk him through the exact timeline of events that happened that night, and he filmed the interview.
Wow.
The footage from that interview looks more like Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
It's just really bad. But he asked Brian what he was thinking when he got home. Brian said that he was thinking that Randi was going to be mad at him because he got home around 8:10 when he said that he'd be home by 8. I can see that.
Yeah.
So he said that the house was dark other than the Christmas tree, and when he turned on the lights, he saw that the house had been ransacked, but Randi wasn't there. So he finally went and searched the garage, which is where he found her. And the garage was not attached to the house. It was, it was next to the house. But he's not throwing in any grueling and meticulous details, so the story on the surface seemed legit. But the detective kept making him retell it over and over and over again. He's clearly looking for inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, I need you to walk me through this. I'm missing something here. I need to know. And he's acting like he's on Brian's side.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian just falls right into it. But Brian in this round of interviews, Brian had said repeatedly, and each time that he had said, gone over it, he said that he had nudged Randi's body to see if she would move or cough or anything.
Well,
he had Brian show him how he knelt down to nudge Randi, and he showed him. And this was different than what he had said in his initial statement the night of. Yep. He said that he had looked into the garage and saw her, but he never said anything about touching her. And in fact, he flat out on videos, on body cam, said that he had not. Okay. So that's a 180-degree flip-flop.
Right.
So he had an airtight alibi, and now he was the prime suspect in Randi's murder, or at least they knew that he knew something.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they needed more, so they turned to forensic investigators. Brian's computer had been analyzed, and they came up with a PDF book in there called How to Commit a Murder. It was on the computer.
Oh boy. All right. That's some damning evidence for sure.
Yeah. On May 8th of 2003, Brian called his mother asking her to go with him to the police station because the detectives want to talk to him. So she agrees, and they go to the police station. There was something about Brian that is rubbing the detective the wrong way. Okay. The DA already had a plea bargain ready for Brian. They already had it. If he comes clean, they take the death penalty off the table. Right. I mean, they had it ready. Brian doesn't even know that they're on to him. I just think, they just want to ask me some more questions or whatever.
Yeah,
meanwhile, the DA's got a plea deal ready.
God. All right. Yeah, sure. Why not?
So at that point, Brian asked his mom to leave. Mom, leave. Please leave. And she does. And in interviews, Brian's mother... Huh?
I didn't say anything.
Oh. And in interviews, Brian's mother said that she realized at that point that Brian had been involved. Before then, she had no clue.
Okay.
So the detective asked Brian point blank, who killed his wife? Who killed your wife, Brian? Mm-hmm. Brian said that Blaine Norris had done it.
Threw him right under the bus.
Yep.
Oh shit. Label out so we maybe get a sponsorship.
Angry Orchard. What are you drinking, Todd?
Angry Orchard. You're drinking Bud Light, but yeah. I don't know. Felt like something different. I got some of these the other day, and I totally forgot about them.
I drink Bud Light, and I ain't gay. That's another one.
Yeah, another one.
William Cruz. I ain't gay. Get off my lawn.
All right. Oh, that reminds me. Dude, I still have to do that video too. Fuck. All right. I guess I'm going to be busy for a while. I totally forgot about that.
That's another one, because I wasn't talking about the throwback to William Cruz. I was talking about the first episode. I was talking about episode 3.
Oh, I know.
That's another one.
That one was a fun one. I'll try to get that one up as soon as possible because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
It'll be on our YouTube page sometime.
Yeah, the YouTube page is going to be up and running soon.
Yes.
Because I have some things that I'm going to go. I have some ideas that I'm going to go over with Todd after we're done recording this episode. Got some ideas.
Right on. So do I. But yeah, let's get going because it's getting late and I have to be at work at 6 a.m.
Okay, 6 o'clock on a Christmas morning.
Yes.
They got a warrant for his arrest, for Blaine's arrest, and to search his car and apartment. And in his car, they found a receipt for things like gloves, crew socks, a belt, black fleece pants, a T-shirt, a knit cap, a camouflage mask, a plastic Halloween mask, and a knife that when the police went to the store, this knife that Brian had bought matched the stab wounds that were on Randi.
Yeah.
So Brian told the police that Blaine had purchased these items for the murder.
Okay. Of course he did.
Brian said in interviews that that he didn't want to put Randi through the pain of a divorce. So sure, just have her killed, put her friends and family through the pain of losing a loved one. That's so much better. You're such a good guy, Brian. You're such a nice guy.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
because... So thoughtful.
Exactly. Yeah. What a fucking wanker. Anyway.
Yeah, wanker. Brian said that it was Blaine who had come up with the idea of killing Randi, and he was more than happy to do it if Brian had given him enough money to pay off his debts.
Okay.
So they spent several months planning the murder, even simulating it. It was like rehearsing for a movie scene.
Oh, yeah.
So on January 10th, the plan is put into action, and Brian invites another friend out to dinner to establish an alibi. Blaine hides in some bushes at Brian and Randi's house, waiting for Randi to get home. So she goes inside, and when she does, Blaine sets off her car alarm. And when she comes out, he strikes from behind. He strangles her with a wire, like an electrical cord, and stabs her to death.
Oh.
These two chuckleheads thought that they would actually gonna be able to get away with it because, you know, they're brilliant horror movie producers, you know.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
But they might have been able to if Brian had managed to keep his story straight.
Yeah, that's the problem when you start lying. It's hard to remember what you said.
Yeah. What I want to know is why Blaine was never questioned initially, or at least interviewed.
Yeah, that you know, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Brian's mother got a call telling her what Brian had confessed to, and her heart was broken. And the detective said that it was pure greed and everything. And I don't really agree with the detective on that. It's not greed. Brian, it's greed on Blaine's part.
Yeah.
But with Brian, I think it's more selfishness.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, I think. Yeah.
So Blaine had confessed to strangling and stabbing Randi to death, and that he had been hired by Brian to carry out the hit. And he pled guilty, and Brian was also charged with murder, and he pled guilty as well.
Oh.
So Brian got life without parole, and he said that he had found God, and God had forgiven him. Of course he did.
Yeah, don't they all?
Yeah. One thing's for certain. He doesn't have to worry about his debt anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
One detective said in an interview that that Blaine must have forgotten about the "thou shalt not kill" part, and that he's going to need as much forgiveness as he can get.
Yeah.
Brian told the court that he loved his wife and he was sorry that he had her killed. I believe that, you know, I believe that as much as I believe the genuineness of his anguish scream, scream at the viewing, or his whiny little bitch performance on the 911 call.
Scream. That's going to be his next movie.
Scream. Through hike. and then squeam.
Yep.
So gory it'll make you squeam.
Right?
It's like squeamish or whatever.
I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So Randy's mother agrees with me. Yeah, about the selfishness. In an interview, she called Brian a chronic liar, and she didn't believe a word that he had said. In the victim statement, the victim impact statement, Randy's mother said that her daughter was murdered by two monsters.
Mm.
And what I had said in the beginning monologue that I did, about the fact that there was a stepfather there because, Randy's biological father was an abusive asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Randy's mom's still alive.
Yeah.
And then she gets, Randy gets murdered by, the piece of shit that she married,
Yeah.
So that's what makes this that much, heartbreaking, because it's just like, Randy's mother is been like an activist, working for, to help victims of domestic abuse and stuff like that. And then meanwhile, her daughter goes out like that. That's that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't even have words for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough to lose your child to murder, but in a lot of ways, obviously what happened to Randy makes the hell that Randy's mom and maybe even Randy too went through, early in life, but by Randy's, biological father,
mm-hmm.
or whatever. It just, Randy totally one upped her mother.
Yeah.
And, it's just heartbreaking.
It is.
Brian's mother said that her heart aches for Randy's mother, who had lost her only child, and there's nothing that she or Brian can do to bring Randy back.
Mm.
She knows that her son is guilty, and that sets her apart from other parents that we've covered, like Tori Adamczyk's mom or Luca Magnotta's mom. That's another one.
There's another one.
And Chris Watt's mom.
Yeah.
You're
really bringing up the past here.
Well, I did it at first, and I was like, okay, let's see how many I can do.
See how many you can do.
and then you brought one up too.
I did. Well, it seemed like the thing to do at the time.
It was because I had brought up another one.
Yeah.
The part I for all intents and purposes, part one.
Yeah.
The one that you were talking about. But it's admirable on Brian's mother's part,
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't heard of this case before, and it's a good one, it really is.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I started writing about it, when I started the notes and everything, I started writing it. I'm thinking to myself, this sounds just like Jack Luna on Dark Topic. It sounds like something he would do. So I'm like, you know what? So I wrote the opening monologue the way that I did, purposely,
mm-hmm.
to be like Jack Luna.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I got to do the intro. I'm like, okay, I'll just spoof it, but it's a respectful spoof, and I know Jack Luna will like it because he was a guest on True Crime Kent one time on an episode that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because his co-host couldn't be there, so he filled in. And on that episode, True Crime Kent spoofed 3 different podcasts, like I just did. So I know Jack Luna is going to appreciate what I did.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. So I mean that's it. That's all I got. I mean, these 2 chuckleheads are rotting in prison, which is where they should be.
Exactly.
And thanks for listening, everybody. I mean, did y'all like this episode? Do you want to hear more cases like this from us? In addition to like one-off killings and stuff like that, and in addition to serial killers and cults, let us know in the comments and social media.
Yes.
And if y'all want it, we'll do it, and we'll try our best not to be monotone.
Yeah, we will work on the monotone thing.
That's never going away, T. Marie.
Never. God, we're assholes. But anyway.
T. Marie 13.
Yes.
When people put a number on there, it's usually either their age or their birth year. Either way, if it's 13 years old or if she was born in 2013, she's probably a little too young to be listening to this podcast in the first place.
Right. But a lot of times, dude, there was probably 12 T. Maries.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
I know. I was making a joke.
I know. But dude, I don't think she's 13 or was born in 2013. But what the hell do I know?
Yeah, but
anyway, it's all good.
My daughter was saying, because I showed her this, and I told her that we were gonna do it and talk about it. She's like, "No, that's privacy." I'm like, she went on my fucking page and torpedoed us.
Yeah, we got to say something.
Damn right.
You know what? I mean, I don't even mind the negative review because
I don't either. I don't either.
Good press, so it's fine. It is what it is.
We're just glad
that's her opinion. She's totally allowed to have that. That's fine.
Oh, and I know she's going to listen to this episode to see if we said something. So once again, thanks for listening, T. Marie 13.
Yes. And everyone else, thank you so much. We love you guys.
Absolutely, and we love T. Marie 13 too.
Absolutely.
So, don't know which episode is going to be next. I've got a really disgusting heavy hitter episode ready to go. I don't know if I want to do that, but that would mean I'd have to write another episode. I also have another episode to do that would require a guest, and I don't know if that guest is going to be able to come on.
Yeah.
So I have two episodes ready to go, but you might not hear either one of them for the episode following this one.
Yeah. But we'll jump off that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. So thank you for listening, everybody. Follow us on social media, rate and review us. We appreciate it. And until next week, later.
Cheers, everybody.